The history of chemical weapons use highlights the devastating effects these weapons can have on both military personnel and civilians. The ongoing development and production of chemical weapons by various countries continue to be a threat to global security. It is essential to continue to monitor and regulate the use of chemical weapons to prevent their proliferation and ensure the safety and security of people worldwide. The use of chemical weapons in warfare is a topic of great concern for the international community. Chemical weapons use is a violation of international law, and the consequences of their use can be devastating, both in terms of immediate casualties and long-term health effects. In this article, we will explore the current state of chemical weapons use and efforts to prevent their proliferation. Current state of chemical weapons use. Today, chemical weapons are still being used in various conflicts around the world. In recent years, chemical weapons have been used in the Syrian civil war, with the Syrian government accused of using nerve agents against its own citizens. In addition, there have been allegations of chemical weapons use in other conflicts, such as the Yemeni civil war. The use of chemical weapons by state actors is particularly concerning, as it indicates a willingness to violate international norms and disregard the safety of civilians. Non-state actors, such as terrorist groups, may also seek to acquire and use chemical weapons, posing a significant threat to global security. Efforts to prevent chemical weapons proliferation. Efforts to prevent the proliferation of chemical weapons have been ongoing for decades. The Chemical Weapons Convention, CWC, which entered into force in 1997, is a multilateral treaty that prohibits the development, production, stockpiling, and use of chemical weapons. The CWC has been ratified by 193 states, making it one of the most widely supported arms control agreements in history. The Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, OPCW, is the implementing body of the CWC. The OPCW is responsible for verifying compliance with the treaty and overseeing the destruction of declared chemical weapons stockpiles. The OPCW has been successful in overseeing the destruction of significant chemical weapons stockpiles, including those in the United States and Russia. The OPCW has also been involved in investigating allegations of chemical weapons use in Syria and other conflicts. The OPCW Fact-Finding Mission and the OPCW United Nations Joint Investigative Mechanism have conducted investigations and identified the perpetrators of chemical weapons use in Syria. In addition to the CWC, the United Nations Security Council has adopted several resolutions related to chemical weapons. Resolution 2118, adopted in 2013, called for the destruction of Syria's chemical weapons stockpile. Resolution 2235, adopted in 2015, established the OPCW United Nations Joint Investigative Mechanism to investigate allegations of chemical weapons use in Syria. Conclusion. In conclusion, the use of chemical weapons in warfare remains a significant concern for the international community. Efforts to prevent the proliferation of chemical weapons, such as the CWC and the OPCW, have been successful in overseeing the destruction of declared chemical weapons stockpiles. However, the ongoing use of chemical weapons in conflicts highlights the need for continued vigilance and cooperation among the international community to prevent the use and proliferation of these weapons. The use of chemical weapons in warfare is a serious threat to global security and human rights. Chemical weapons can cause severe harm to soldiers and civilians, as well as long-term environmental damage.